Welcome to week 2. I'll respond individually to week 1's post, but I thought it might be good to share some general thoughts with you. Reading and writing critical theory can be challenging at times, as so many of our normal expectations are called into question. In our day-to-day lives, most of us assume that writers produce texts and that readers receive meaning from the text that the writers produce. Research has shown that reading and writing are remarkably complex activities. Writers write texts, but there's no guarantee that we, the readers, will understand them in the same way in which they were composed. In fact, there are some theorists who argue that it's the readers, not the writers, who create text, and that it's the act of reading that really is an act of authoring. Texts are slippery things, and this semester you'll learn that there are many, many ways to interpret literary and other forms of text. What was fascinating about week 1's discussion forum is the many different readings that Merwin's poem generated. While I like Merwin's poem, and God knows I've written about it enough, what especially fascinated me was the creativity of responses on how you drew from a variety of contexts to make sense of a short, and some might argue, difficult poem. But think about it for a moment. Imagine that I just provided you with the words of the poem without any attribution to Merwin, nor any mention that this was in fact a poem. In fact, imagine that I offered you this text as a simple sentence, keeping all of its original language intact, and asked you to make sense of it. If you did not know that this was a poem by a particularly prominent poet, would your reading have been different? Did the labels of literature and poetry direct your approach to this text in a specific fashion? If I said that this was a suicide note, for instance, would your reading have been different? This week, you'll explore issues of constitutionality, which raise many issues of meaning. We like to think of our founding documents as having determinate meaning, but looking at issues like gun control, for instance, belies this notion. As long as there are texts, and remember that we're using the term text in the most general of ways, there will be disputations as to what they might mean. I know that this can be frustrating at times, but be patient. Don't be afraid to try out different reading strategies, and enjoy the creativity that you have as readers, as makers of meaning. I'm looking forward to your work this week. Take care.